Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are back again. As Dr. Howard Gardner once said, stories constitute the single most powerful weapon in a leader's arsenal. And our storyteller for today, Amee, has proved it correct. She's a true leader with the rarest combinations. Amee is a counselor, a marathoner, a mother, and an international storyteller. She is also the founder of Swadhyaya and loves acting in short plays and entertain our little bundles of joy. She possesses a rich experience of more than a decade in corporate sector. Ami firmly believes that our children are leaders of tomorrow's beautiful world and they need to be groomed at an early age, and there is nothing better than storytelling to groom them. She founded Swadhyay with an aim and desire to teach children and grown ups the amazing art of storytelling. And Swadhyay also organizes storytelling fests for listeners and tellers. It is a non judgmental platform for everyone to share, learn, and grow together. They believe that storytelling and teaching the artists, it's not just our passion, but it is a step forward and an attempt to bring about the changes. So let's welcome Ami. Hi, Ami. Hello. Namaste. That would be the
Namaste,
best.
Tina.
How are you?
Namaste. I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. So the kids have started coming in. So let's, without wasting time, let's go on board. Okay, I'll tell you the rules. Uh, in mid of the story, you can pop up your questions. You can tell me, I'll put them on, right? And at the end of the story, we will be asking them like they will, though they will be answering all the questions right now. So what we'll be doing is, after that we will start selecting them and sending them the request to join in, like you've joined in.
Okay.
After that, those who have answered, normally all the kids, they answer the correct answer, they give the correct answers. Once they give the correct answer, then we can have them on board and they can interact with you. You can ask them questions, they can ask you questions. It's like it's all yours.
Okay.
So
Great.
that is how we do it. And now I hand over the stage to you. It's all yours.
Thank you, Reena. Thank you for having me here.
My pleasure.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amee. I'm a story therapist, a counselor, your 2 a.m. friend. You can share anything with me. And a storyteller makes me a story therapist. I do value based stories. नानी तेरी स्टोरीज को हम ले गए बाकी जो बच्चा था काले चोर ले गए अच्छी नानी प्यारी नानी अच्छी नानी प्यारी नानी रुस्सा रुस्सी छोड़ दे जल्दी से एक स्टोरी दे दे तो कंजूसी छोड़ दे नानी तेरी स्टोरीज को हम ले गए बाकी जो बच्चा था काले चोर ले गए I used to love singing this song to my nanny. She had so many stories. I would take my pottery of stories, take the stories from her, put it in my pottery. This time, the story what she told me, I fell in love. And this story is about a long time ago where stones, yes, Baba, you heard it right, where stones could talk, stones who can fly, stones who could run, and stones who are wise. Yes, an island of stones. Now, there were stones strong, thin, big, and in that lived a tiny stone, Pezzettino. In Italian, my friends here would know who can speak and understand Italian. Pezzettino means a tiny piece. And the way he got his size, his name, Pezzettino. Pezzettino, on that island of stones, was one of the favorites. He had so many friends there. And because of his size, He often wondered,
I'm such a tiny piece of stone. Have you seen my friends? They're so big, so strong. I know I must be someone's missing piece.
missing piece, did he say?
Yes, missing piece.
But one day he didn't want to waste time wondering. He decided,
Enough. I am going to go and find whose missing piece am I.
and he left early in the morning to meet his friend, the one who runs. By the way I am a marathoner, the stone who runs was also training in a stadium. Pezzatino quickly went there and waited for his friend. His friend, who was training, saw Pezzatino and went close to him and said, Pezzatino, what happened? Why are you here?
I have a question for you. Am I your missing piece?
Pezzatino, if you were my missing piece, what makes you think I could run so fast? Pezzatino was tiny disappointed, but he knew the answer. He didn't waste his time and he went to meet who flies high up in the sky. Yes. Now for that, Pezzatino has to climb a mountain. So he started climbing the mountain. While he was climbing the mountain, he saw there was a huge stone who was also climbing the mountain. Pezzatino knew that he couldn't be his missing piece.
He doesn't even smile. I'm sure I'm not his missing piece, but still I will ask him. Am I your missing piece?
Oh, Pezzatino, if you were my missing piece. He did not even finish what he wanted to say. Pezzatino quickly went up the mountain and waited there. You know for whom, right? For the one who flies high up in the sky, just like a free stone. And he saw Pezzatino down. He quickly came and asked Pezzatino, Hey Pezzatino, what brings you here?
Am I your missing piece?
My missing piece? Pezzatino, if you were my missing piece, do you think I could fly so high?
Mm-hmm.
Pezzatino was little more disappointed. He came down the mountain and then he decided,
I know whose missing piece am I. I am the missing piece of who swims in the water. I love to swim, so I know I'm his missing piece.
Pezzatino removed his boat. He didn't want to swim that day. He got his boat out, sat in the boat, started rowing. He went just right at the middle of this ocean and waited for the one who was swimming in the water. In no time, he came on the surface, the one who was swimming, and said, Pezzatino, hello. We all know what question he's going to ask, right? Right.
Am I your missing piece?
Oh, Pezzatino. He really laughed on Pezzatino. Pezzatino, if you were my missing piece, do you think I could swim so well in the middle of the ocean? Pezzatino said, Okay. Little more disappointed, Pezzatino came back, rowed his boat so quickly, went on his island, and ran to meet his best friend. His best friend, the strong one. He was in his gym working out. Pezzatino ran to the gym and asked him the same question.
Am I your missing piece?
The strong one was busy working out and said, Oh, Pezzatino, if you were my missing piece, do you think I would have been this strong? Pezzatino was in almost tears and he just got angry and said, Can you tell me where should I go? Now, children, now I have a question for you. All right. Now, this question is, what do you think? What would have happened if his best friend would have said yes? So the question is, अगर पेज़िटिनो के फ्रेंड ने हाँ कहा होता that he is his missing piece, what do you think Pezzitino would have felt? Do we have anyone telling me this?
Even he wants to know the answer.
Yes. What would have happened if his best friend would have said yes? What do you think Pezzitino would have felt? He would be extremely happy and would be jumping around from happiness. Perfect, Vartika. Absolutely. I would have been amazed as well. He would have felt very happy and joyful, of course. He would have felt so happy. Correct, Shilpa? I think he will be very happy and enjoying and dancing extremely, extremely. That is so nice. It's so nice that, we are part of someone, right? When we are in a group, when somebody accepts us, it's a happy feeling, just like that. But unfortunately, it did not happen with Pezzitino. Pezzitino was already upset. Remember? The bar of disappointment? It started rising and rising. And now, his best friend, the strong one, told Pezzitino that, you know what? Go and meet the wise one. Now, who is wise one? Wise one is the one who is the wisest stone on that island. Everybody knew that the wise one has all the answers. Yes, he would have been happy. Absolutely, Mayur. So now he goes to meet the wise one because all his friends and everybody said no. And if he would have been happy if somebody would have said yes, but unfortunately, nobody said yes because everybody had their own reasons. If they had a missing piece, they wouldn't fly, they wouldn't swim that well, they wouldn't even know what to do. Now he goes to meet the wise one. Now wise one was meditating. Pezzitino waited there with lot of stillness, quiet and calm. But inside Pezzitino's heart, drum, 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 he was really getting anxious. He had this question. He wanted the answer of that question. He wanted to know whose missing piece was he. And now, since his best friend said wise one would have an answer, he couldn't wait. But he knew he had to wait because wise one was meditating. The moment wise one opened his eyes, Pezzitino asked the same question, and we all know the question. The question is,
Wise one, am I your missing piece?
the wise one looked at Pezzitino and said, Pezzitino, tell me this. If I had a piece missing, do you think I would have been this wise? Pezzitino just stared at the wise man and
I want to know. I want to know. I know I'm someone's missing piece. I want to know whose missing piece am I? Now!
Wise one saw Pezzettino getting extremely cranky and he said, all right, you wait. Pezzettino, that's not the answer. You want your answer, you have to go to another island of pebbles.
Island of Pebbles?
Yes, Pezzettino. Island of pebbles, you will find your answer. Now, do you think that Pezzettino would have waited? He could sleep in the night? He couldn't sleep in the night. He went tossing and turning and tossing and turning. Early morning, he got his boat out again, got in his boat, and he started rowing as fast as he could. He was tired, he was exhausted, but he did not stop. He went on and on and on. The moment he saw an island in front of him, he knew that's an island of pebbles Wise Man was telling him about. His all energy was back and he moved as quickly as possible. He reached the island, and the moment he got out of his boat, he saw island was nothing like he had expected. There were heaps and heaps of pebbles, just like him. No big stones, no thin stones, no strong stones. Only pebbles and mountains of pebbles. He saw one pebble and he said,
Let me ask him.
He went to the pebble.
I have a question for you.
The pebble there just looked at Pezzettino and said, Yes. Pezzettino said,
Nothing. Let me ask him something. I have a question for you.
Yes. Pezzettino realized that no pebbles there are as friendly as his friends. He just didn't know what to do. But then he saw these mountains of pebbles. He realized, let me go up the mountain and I will find my answer. So everyone sitting here, let's go up the mountain together with Pezzettino. So how Pezzettino goes up the mountain? He goes up the mountain. He comes down the mountain. All right, so let's go. He goes up the mountain. He comes down the mountain. The third mountain, he goes up. He comes down. The fourth one, he goes up and he comes down. Now, he was already tired. He was already sleepy and exhausted. The final mountain, and he looked here and he looked there.
Wise Man said that I will find my answer here. There are only pebbles and nobody is ready to give me any answer.
Now, because he had just got all the mountains up and down, he decided, let me just finally go on this last mountain and then let's see what happens. So he went on the mountain, up the mountain. Remember, he's tired. He cannot go quickly. So he dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged. He reached up the mountain. But the moment he was supposed to come down the mountain, he came down the mountain and suddenly he slipped and he tumbled down. And the moment he reached the ground, he broke into tiny little pieces. He looked on the left. He looked on the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 little pieces of me. 9 little pieces of me. 9 little pieces of me. I found my answer. I am not a missing piece of anyone. I am made of
tiny little pieces.
He got so happy, he made sure he picked all his pieces, not forgetting any, got in his boat, and started rowing. Too excited to reach home. The moment he reached on his island, all his friends were waiting for Pezzettino. Moment Pezzettino met them, he hugged them. I found myself. I found myself. None of his friends really understood what he was saying, but looking at Pezzettino's happiness, they were very happy for Pezzettino. So this is end of my story, Pezzettino. And this story tells you about something. But before I tell you what it told me, I want to hear from you children some questions I have. What do you think the story is trying to tell you here? My next question. What is the story trying to tell you here?
Ami ma'am, I'm putting all the questions that you've sent me.
All right.
Yeah, and they can go through them.
Yes. So I have some interesting questions for you children. And Reena has told me that you all are pretty quick in answering those questions. And I'm so excited to read your answers. All right. So the first question is, what is the meaning of pezzettino? Pezzettino is Italian word. So what is the meaning of pezzettino? My second question is, what would have happened if that you guys have answered very beautifully that Pezzettino would have been happy, dancing, he would have felt so extremely delighted that, he's part of someone. Third question is, what qualities do you think Pezzettino has, or what kind of stone is he? And my favorite question is, what is your takeaway from the story? What did you learn from the story? And then I would also love to share what did I think about the story. Pezzettino means little piece. Brilliant, Vartika. Brilliant. Absolutely. Yes, a little piece. Yes. Happy little stone. Yes. Perfect. Pezzettino, a little piece, yes. But I would say that, in this, we would say that, he's tiny, he's not a piece, because that means he's a missing piece, right? So, yeah. Pezzettino means a little piece, of course. Yes, Shilpa, a little piece. Perfect. Yes. Now tell me, what are the qualities of Pezzettino? Tell me all, whatever you can think. What do you think Pezzettino is like? And he was happy. Yes, Gitika. Pezzettino was curious to know about something and he can reach anywhere if he wants to know something. Yes. So what, Vartika, if you have to give me one quality to what you have said, what would you say? Very curious one. Yes. Yes, Vibha. Anxious. Yes. Yes. Anxious. Yes. That makes him anxious. Yes, Vibha. determined, strong will. You know, some qualities are such that it is so situational. It happens that people give us names that, you know, you are this, you are this, but sometimes certain situation will get those quality out from us. And again, we are not talking about a negative or a positive quality, because all the qualities are good. It's just where you want to use. For instance, I think Pezzatino is very stubborn piece of stone, right? He's very stubborn. He doesn't want to give up that easily. He wants that answer. That in his head he knows he's a missing piece, okay, or maybe he's assuming that he's a missing piece, and he would go out of his way to make sure that he gets his answer. So yes, and sometimes being stubborn helps as well if you take it in that right way. Everything is good in that limit. Even anxious, right? Being anxious, a lot of people, everybody would say, is a feeling which is not good. Anxious is having that feeling of something uncertain, uh, unsure, and that feeling, okay, that kal kya hoga, ye kaise hoga, that is being anxious, right? That's one feeling that we all should work on, that it's not something in our hand, right? So being anxious, having anxiety, we need to practice that we don't get into that thing, because that will add up to your overthinking and we will start creating stories. I mean, obviously story is very powerful, but creating overthinking stories, yes, we need to really work on that. All right, so I'm waiting for my last question as well. What are your takeaways from the story? What did you learn from the story? You should have believed in yourself. Yes, you should. Yes, Rajesh, you should believe in yourself. That is so, so true. And that belief in Pezzatino came in after he went through quality of being stubborn, anxious, all of that. And finally he knew. Imagine the answer, what he was going, and the answer he got. Okay, so he's Yash. Thank you, Yash. It's a good thought to believe in yourself. What about there's someone, Vartika, we have Shilpa, we have Deepika, there are a lot of uh, amazing children who are answering. Tell me, what is your learning from the story? Yes, we should believe in ourselves. We should not believe one. Okay. If you could just finish that answer, we should believe in ourselves. We should not believe one in anyone. Is that
Yeah, quite possible. It's we should not believe in anyone else.
anyone? Yeah, yeah, I realize that. Reena, even I should ask you also. What is your takeaway from the story?
I feel that because if I give the answer, they will know the correct answer. I do know the answer, but
There is no correct. You know, this story has so many different takeaways.
this story tells you you should not forget your identity. You should not search for your identity anywhere else, because you yourself are your identity. You have to create a niche for yourself. You're not bound to be with anybody.
Yeah,
You just continue doing what you are, who you are, and success is yours.
absolutely.
वो बोलते हैं ना, क्या मंजिल पे नजर रख और दौड़े चला जा राही. That's it.
That's exactly that. You know, if your focus is there, that's so true. You know, while we are growing up, we during in school, when we are preteen years, teenagers, we want to put ourselves in a group. You know, that वो group बहुत smart है, तो मैं उसमें रहूंगा. वो group बहुत
I
talented
like
है.
this answer by Vartika. She says it tells us that we should never give up and we belong to no one but ourselves. Perfect.
Perfect, lady. Perfect. So nice. I mean, everybody. It's so. It is required that, you know, we believe in ourselves and We don't try to push ourselves that, I must be somebody else. See, interdependent, independent में बहुत फर्क है. So it's a beautiful bit. So yes, Vartika.
We've got kids coming in. I'll just bring them to screen. We have Akalpreet, Yash, Gurneet, Shrishti. I am not able to see you, or I don't know where you are.
Shrishti has just messaged that she is going through some network issues.
Yes, yes. Actually, there is a problem that she is in. She's somewhere this side, Nagothane side.
Okay.
Yeah. This is Akalpreet. This is Yash. Okay, kids, log in fast. Yash and Yash, come on the camera. Akalpreet, come on the camera.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening, beta. How are you?
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah, she's gone.
Ma'am, I'm fine. How are you, ma'am?
Good. How are you?
I guess
I'm
all-
fine.
Where are you all? Come out of your cameras now.
Yeah. I would love to see you all.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Hello. Good evening.
How are
Yes,
you, ma'am?
we're good.
How are you, ma'am?
Good. How are you?
Ma'am, I am also good.
That's fantastic. All right. So let's do some chit chat. Would you like to share something? Ask me something? Tell me something.
Ma'am, please provide me some non-fiction stories. Ma'am, please tell me. Ma'am, your voice is coming echo.
Which is your favorite storybook? So I read a lot of stories. For my real life stories is by Sudha Murthy. Something happened on the way to heaven. That's one of my favorite storybook which I read. Currently, I'm reading a book, Royal Wise and Otherwise. That whole bunch of stories are of different kings, queens, an era of kings and queens. So currently, I'm reading that and I'm enjoying it. It's brilliant book.
Ma'am, where are you from?
I'm from Mumbai.
Okay, ma'am. Do you like non-fiction stories?
I like stories. So if the story is making
Non-fiction
me,
stories?
yes, I like all kind of stories.
Ma'am, which story is your favorite?
So Pezzettino, which I shared right now, is one of my favorite stories. Apart from that,
Okay,
there are a
ma'am.
lot of other stories which I like. I mean, there are so many stories. I like to read Akbar Birbal, Tenali Raman. I think these stories are really nice.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Yash, you know, can you quote me a horror story?
Good evening, ma'am.
Hi, Vartika.
Hello,
Yash, I'll get back to you because I would not have an author, but maybe I can share some story links with you on horror stories. Hi, Vartika.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Do you guys, anybody write
Yeah,
stories?
ma'am.
You all write stories?
Good evening, ma'am. And do you like horror stories?
Horror stories, as I said, I can share certain links. Um, or maybe, next, whenever I'm on this platform with you, maybe I'll get a spooky story, maybe a real life story which has.
Shrishti says, ma'am, I write stories.
Yes, Shruti, that's a very good thing. So, what kind of stories do you write, Shruti?
Shrishti, she's Shrishti.
Shrishti, sorry. Shrishti, what kind of stories, darling, do you write?
Mannat भी join होगी.
I think she's not able to hear it or something. Yes, it's, ma'am, she's saying, ma'am, I like horror stories. We need to give
Rina,
them a
in fact,
horror story once. We
yes,
need to give them one.
yeah. So, recent times, I have done few sessions as well on story writing and telling art of story. I have so many children this same age group. They only want to read horror, spooky stories. Aap sunao, spooky stories likhao. Everything is horror. I have, it's suddenly I've seen that change. That they want to get into this more tingling feeling. That kuch story mein kuch hona chahiye types.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll
We
try
need
to
to
get
get
a.
them some horror stories now. We need to make them feel that horror of horror stories, right, Yash?
Yes. So, Reena, next time, whenever I'm on your platform, I'll get one spooky story.
Yes. One spooky, like, it should be
Ma'am,
there.
when?
Okay, Shrishti, she's written 3 stories. That's very nice.
Yash is asking, ma'am, when did you start this profession?
Yash, I am telling stories for last 3 years. But I'm listening to stories, I think, forever. I remember we wouldn't let our dadi sleep. My dadi was not staying with us, so whenever she came to stay with us during summers, 3 stories she would tell us, and we will ask her to repeat the story every night for 10 days. Same story, same
Okay,
story
ma'am.
she would tell us. So I've been listening to stories forever, but professionally, I'm a storyteller for last 3 years. Which is your favorite story? So, as I said, that Pezzettino is one of my favorite stories. There are a lot of so there is a story, Princess Sundari, Kisan Rajkumari Sundari is also a real life story. It's a folk tale from Bhil community in Gujarat a long time ago. I think, yeah, Bhil community. That is also one of my favorite stories. That how a princess wants to become a farmer and why. So yeah, that's my favorite. Why do you like this profession? Um, that's a very good question, Shruti. So there's a story behind that. When I started counseling, okay, so I am a counselor for adults and children. I realized that with children you cannot do talk therapy. The therapies which I've been taught to do with adults, so I wanted to get into narrative therapy. And storytelling just happened. When I heard that storytelling is also such a powerful medium to reach to children or anyone for that matter, that's when it clicked and I picked it up. That through stories, I can give values, I can make people introspect. So my work being a counselor is introspect that what is happening to you, rather than giving them advices and gyan or suggestion, aap ye karo, ye karo, ye karo. My work is to make them understand that what you are feeling. Through stories, this is what I want to do. I want to move you. I want to move that thought in you that,
Ma'am,
staying
which
in.
storyteller do you like?
Sorry, darling. What did you ask?
Ma'am, which storyteller do you like?
Oh, I have so many favorite storytellers. So first, my favorite storyteller is children. Is because you all give me a lot of stories. Second favorite is my daddy. Third is my nanny. Fourth is Meg Mirza Prabhu. She is my favorite storyteller. Shrishti's stories are the Green Princess, Best Friends, and BB More. Srishti, I would love to listen to your stories. Maybe you can just email me. I would want to hear your story.
Ma'am, please tell a page. I like today's story.
Yes, Babu?
Mannat was saying, I like the story.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, we do have time for another story. You can go ahead with it.
Okay. So, children, I have got another story for you, and I would love to share that story. Um, so, again, my nanny, as I said, my nanny is one, she has this so many stories I would add in my portly and come. This time, when I went to meet my nanny was reading a book. And I asked my nanny that, what's with you? I mean, आप इतने ऐसे awe में क्यों दिख रहे हो? And my nanny said, Amee, I am reading a story of Mullah Nasruddin. I said, Nani, who is Mullah Nasruddin? I mean, what so big deal? My nanny said, you don't know who is Mullah Nasruddin? He is someone you cannot trick him. You cannot make fool of Mullah Nasruddin. He's that smart. He's that intelligent. And I said, possibly nahi hai. How can somebody be that intelligent and that smart that he cannot be fooled? He cannot be tricked. My Nani, that's when she gave me this story. A long time ago, Mullah Nasruddin, he's from Persia. He was in his home sitting. It was a Sunday morning. Usually, Sunday morning, Mullah Nasruddin is at peace. He doesn't go to work. He enjoys his time with his wife Yasmin. Yasmin would also wear something really nice. Mullah will be in his finest velvet robe. He would sit on a couch with his wife, look outside the window, the clouds and the birds. And Yasmin would cook something delicious for Mullah every Sunday. Now, this was a typical Sunday where Mullah was sitting on his couch, looking outside the window, the clouds and the birds, and somebody knocked at the door. Usually, Yasmin would run and answer the door, but Mullah that day was in a very good mood. He said, Dear, sit. Let me just go and answer the door. Mullah opened the door and he saw a tall man standing in front of him. Mullah said, Yes.
Hello. I am your cousin's friend. I have come to give you this duck. My name is Omer.
A duck? Why don't you come home and have lunch with us?
Oh, no. I have to go to another village for same work. I don't have time.
And he left. Mullah was holding the duck. He was longing to have duck soup. He quickly called his wife and said, Yasmin, dear, come here. Take this delicious duck and make us some duck soup for lunch. Yasmin, who was still not sure what to cook for Mullah that Sunday, she was happy. She came running. She took the duck and quickly went in the kitchen to make the duck soup. Mullah shut the door, came to his living room again, sat on the couch, and we all know what he was doing. He was looking outside the window, the clouds and the birds. And in no time, a knock at the door again. He thought, but children, did I tell you something? When Mullah was talking to Amee, the one who got the duck, somebody heard the conversation. A trespasser who was just walking around and he heard duck soup. And he started drooling. So that man is at the door, by the way. Mullah quickly went to answer the door. And he opened and he said, yes. The man said, I am Salim, your cousin's friend's friend. Mullah said, is that so? Why don't you come home and have lunch with us? Okay. And Salim and Mullah went inside the living room, sat on the couch, looked outside the window, the clouds and the birds. And again, within no time, again a knock at the door. Salim looked at Mullah. Mullah looked at Salim. Who could be? Children, did I tell you this? When Amee and Mullah were talking about the duck, somebody was also listening to the conversation. He was a thief. And thief was sitting on the roof of Mullah's house. He heard all the conversation and he also started drooling duck soup. And in no time, the aroma of duck soup started tickling in his nostrils. He quickly removed the mask. By the way, he had come to rob Mullah's house. He said, I will do that later. Let me go and first have duck soup. So he wore his proper clothes and he's at the door. Opened the door and he said, yes, I am Ali. I am your cousin's friend's friend. Is that so? Why don't you come and have lunch with us? Ali, the thief, that's what he wanted. So he also entered Mullah's house and he sat on the couch. Now Ali, Salim and Mullah, all three were looking outside the window, the clouds and the birds. Mullah started thinking, there is something fishy about these two men. Let me see. Mullah got up and he went inside the kitchen to get the duck soup. He got 2 duck soup bowls in a tray. He gave the first one to Salim and the second bowl to Ali. Now, Ali looked at Salim. Salim looked at Ali. And they saw duck soup. So now, the first bowl Salim tasted. So he stirred and stirred and he took the first sip. What is this? It's so diluted. And then he looked at Ali. Now it was Ali's turn. Ali also stirred the duck soup. What is this? It tastes like water. And that's when Mullah said, Salim, You are my cousin's friend's friend, so I gave you duck soup's soup. And you, Ali, you are my cousin's friend's friend, so I gave you duck soup's soup. So it is like water, and this is so diluted. In no time, children, Ali and Salim were out of the house and they never came back. So that's why my Nani told me Mullah Nasruddin, intelligent and smart. Nobody can trick him and nobody can fool him. So this is end of my story number 2. Yes.
So the kids are eagerly
All right.
waiting to come back. Here is Mannat.
I'm Anna.
Ma'am, please tell a princess story.
Okay, so I'm coming next again. Reena, I am right. So I will get a princess story and a spooky story. A promise to you.
Because Guneet, beta, we don't have
Okay,
much
ma'am.
time left.
Oh, they're so cute.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, I will get that princess story, that Princess Rajkumari story, and I'll get a spooky story. Done.
Guneet really loves princess stories.
Yes, yes.
Vartika is back.
Hi, Vartika.
Yes, Vartika, please come back online and put up your questions, whatever you want to. Vartika.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
talk to ma'am. Talk to ma'am.
Ma'am, for how many years have you been telling stories?
3 years.
Ma'am, why do you like to stories?
Why do I like stories? Is because stories, I have realized that with stories you can study, you can remember, you can feel different emotions, you can learn. With stories you can do so much. With stories you can learn maths, history, science, you name it, and you can learn through stories. So I think stories is absolutely a magic wand, and that's why story.
Get the questions. We have just 8
Also want to
minutes.
become a storyteller.
Guneet says,
Shrishti,
Ma'am, I want to become an artist.
you want to become an artist? That's brilliant. That is superb.
Guneet says she wants to become a storyteller.
Yes, storyteller. You all see, we all are storytellers. I'll teach you how to become little more.
Shrishti is asking, ma'am, can you please tell us a small horror story?
Darling, no story could be small, right? If I have to even elaborate on how horror or how spooky it is, it's going to take time. But as I've promised you, I'm coming with a horror story next time when you see me.
I guess she's going to come on the 9th with a horror story and as yeah.
Yeah. I'll
And a
get a
previous
horror.
video, Guneet.
Yes, ma'am.
The most asked question today is a horror story.
Yes. In fact, it has been on our other sessions also. So we need to give them the taste of horror as well.
Absolutely. It's going to be such an amazing thing for me also. Horror story. And I have real live spooky stories. So I don't even have to really get the story. I can just tell from my experiences.
Wow, that will be amazing.
Yeah.
And they need to sit like this and watch.
I remember when I was young, I used to tell my cousins about the experiences, and they would really get scared. They would not sleep with me in the night.
So I guess our session on ninth is going to be the most amazing one with all. I think we can invite everybody for that day, except for Group A, B, C, and D, all of them. Then it will be more interesting.
Perfect.
So
Yes, Shruti.
please mark your calendars. Bye, bye, bye. Mark your calendars. 9th of August is going to be a
When
very
will the
different kind.
result come?
I guess we can end our session for today.
Yes. Shrishti wanted to say something. I think again her network is.
Yes, there is a network issue with Shrishti.
Yeah.
She's saying, ma'am, I want to tell something. Please go ahead.
Yes, Shrishti.
I guess she's gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nowadays, network is the one which are giving horrors to people now. They have become spooky.
Exactly. Exactly. So today here we end our session. Our storyteller for you for tomorrow is again going to be a surprise, like Amee ma'am. So let's say goodbye and namaste.
Bye, kids. Thank you, Reena. Bye, Reena.
My pleasure. So here we end our session for today. Tomorrow we will be back. The information will be shared on Facebook and via mail. Thank you so much and namaste.